Here's a polished outro version for your Australian 5-cent coin video. Welcome to my channel. Today we explored the Elizabeth II Australian 5-cent coin. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Would you like me to make a set of ready outros for all Australian coins, 5C, 10C, 20C, 50C, $1, $2, so you can use them easily across your videos? Here's a polished outro version for your Australian 5-cent coin video. Welcome to my channel. Today we explored the Elizabeth II Australian 5-cent coin. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Would you like me to make a set of ready outros for all Australian coins, 5C? Here's a long single paragraph script about the Elizabeth II Australia 2006 5-cent coin, with full details and background, structured so that it can last around 10 minutes of narration when read slowly and with emphasis. The Elizabeth II Australia 2006 5-cent coin is a small yet significant piece of Australia's decimal coinage system, combining practicality, artistry, and history in a design that has remained remarkably consistent since the nation's shift to decimal currency in 1966. Struck by the Royal Australian Mint, this coin belongs to the lowest value denomination still in circulation, but despite its modest face value, it carries with it a wealth of symbolism and cultural meaning. On the obverse, the coin features the official effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, this time in the portrait created by Ian Rank Broadley, which had been introduced in 1999 and remained on Australian coinage until 2018. In this portrait, Her Majesty faces right, her mature features captured with a realism and strength that differed from earlier effigies by Arnold McKim and Raphael Maclauff, giving the Queen a more lifelike and less idealized appearance. She wears the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, one of her signature crowns, and around the portrait is the legend Elizabeth II Australia 2006, which states her name, the issuing nation, and the year of mintage. The reverse of the coin is where Australia's unique identity is showcased. It depicts the echidna, a spiny anteater native to Australia and one of the very few egg-laying mammals in the world, designed by master artist Stuart Devlin, who created all the reverse designs for Australia's first decimal coins. The echidna is shown curled with its spines radiating outward in an intricate design, its snout prominent in the center as it searches for food, perfectly filling the tiny canvas of the 5-cent piece. Below the echidna's image is the denomination 5, simple yet bold. The coin itself is struck in copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel, has a weight of 2.83 grams, a diameter of 19.41 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.3 millimeters, with a plain edge, making it the smallest Australian coin both in size and value. In 2006, tens of millions of these coins were produced for circulation, and while they are extremely common in everyday use, their significance lies in their endurance as one of the few denominations that survived the withdrawal of the 1-cent and 2-cent coins in 1992. Collectors often seek 2006 5-cent coins in pristine uncirculated condition or as part of special mint or proof sets issued by the Royal Australian Mint, which displays sharper detail and higher finish. Historically, the coin represents the continuing legacy of decimal coinage in Australia, linking the reign of Queen Elizabeth II to the country's celebration of its native wildlife. Though it is often overlooked because of its low value, the 5-cent coin is essential to the decimal system, used for making exact change in countless transactions. For numismatists, the 2006 edition stands as an example of how Australia balanced tradition with practicality, the Queen's portrait reinforcing Commonwealth ties, and the echidna proudly representing the nation's unique fauna. Even today, as electronic payments reduce reliance on physical coins, the 2006 5-cent piece continues to circulate as a familiar reminder of Australian identity, history, and the artistry hidden in even the smallest denomination. Would you like me to also make a longer, 20-minute YouTube narration version of this, expanding more on the echidna, the coin symbolism, and its role in everyday life, so it fits perfectly for your channel content? Here's a long single paragraph script about the Elizabeth II Australia 2008 5-cent coin, with historical, numismatic, and design details, written to last around 10 minutes of narration if read slowly with emphasis. The Elizabeth II Australia 2008 5-cent coin is one of the smallest yet most enduring pieces of Australia's decimal coinage, a coin that, despite its modest face value, reflects the country's history, artistry, and cultural heritage. It was struck by the Royal Australian Mint as part of the decimal system first introduced in 1966, and by 2008 the 5-cent coin had already become a familiar presence in the pockets and purses of every Australian, serving as the lowest denomination still circulating after the withdrawal of the 1 and 2 cent coins in 1992. On the obverse, the coin features the official portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by sculptor Ian Rank Broadley, whose effigy was introduced in 1999 and remained on Australian coins for nearly 2 decades. This portrait shows a mature queen facing right, her features rendered with a greater degree of realism and detail compared to earlier effigies, highlighting her dignity, authority, and the continuity of her reign. She wears the famous Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, one of her most iconic pieces of jewelry, and around the portrait runs the inscription Elizabeth II Australia 2008, identifying both the monarch and the issuing nation, along with the year of mintage. The reverse is where Australia's unique character shines. The design by master goldsmith and artist Stuart Devlin portrays the echidna, a spiny anteater native to Australia and one of the world's few egg-laying mammals, shown curled with its snout in the center and its spines radiating outward. This intricate yet compact design brilliantly fills the small surface of the coin, and beneath the image is the bold denomination 5, representing 5 cents. Made of copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel, the coin weighs 2.83 grams, has a diameter of 19.41 millimeters, a thickness of 1.3 millimeters, and a plain edge, making it the smallest circulating Australian coin in both size and value. In 2008, millions were struck for everyday use, and while they are common in circulation, their real interest for collectors lies in high-grade uncirculated examples, proof coins struck for mint sets, or error pieces showing misstrikes or planchet flaws. Historically, this coin connects the enduring image of Queen Elizabeth II, symbolizing Australia's ties to the Commonwealth, with the echidna, symbolizing the country's rich and distinctive natural heritage. By 2008, the coin also reflected ongoing debates about whether the 5-cent coin should remain in circulation at all, given inflation and its limited purchasing power, yet its usefulness for making exact change ensured its survival. For everyday Australians, the 5-cent coin might have seemed small and easy to overlook, but it played a vital role in transactions, vending machines, and as change in countless shops, while for numismatists it represented the lasting legacy of Stuart Devlin's designs, which gave Australia's decimal coins their unmistakable identity. The Elizabeth II Australia 2008 5-cent coin is thus far more than just a tiny disc of metal. It is a link between monarchy and nationhood, between art and utility, and between the everyday life of ordinary people and the long history of coinage, a piece of circulating heritage that continues to remind us of Australia's story in the palm of the hand. Would you like me to also create a 20-minute extended version for this coin, adding more detail about the echidna's biology, Stuart Devlin's artistry, and the economic role of small denominations, so it fits? Here's a long single-paragraph script about the Elizabeth II Australia 1983 5-cent coin, with full historical, design, and numismatic details, written so it can last around 10 minutes of narration when read steadily. The Elizabeth II Australia 1983 5-cent coin is a small yet historically important part of Australia's decimal currency system, reflecting the nation's identity, its wildlife, and its ties to the monarchy during the late 20th century. First introduced in 1966 as part of Australia's transition from pounds, shillings, and pence to dollars and cents, the 5-cent coin became the smallest denomination still in use after the withdrawal of the 1 and 2 cent coins in 1992, making the 1983 issue part of the earlier decades of its history when it was a vital coin in circulation. On the obverse, the coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by sculptor Arnold Machin, who designed the effigy used on Australian coins from 1966 until 1984. In this depiction, the Queen faces right, wearing the elegant Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, one of her most iconic jewels, and the portrait conveys both youthfulness and dignity, reflecting the strength of her reign during that era. Surrounding the portrait is the inscription Elizabeth II Australia 1983, identifying the monarch, issuing country, and the year of mintage. On the reverse, the coin proudly showcases one of Australia's most unique and fascinating creatures, the echidna, or spiny anteater, designed by the acclaimed artist and goldsmith Stuart Devlin, who was responsible for all the reverse designs of Australia's first decimal coins. The echidna, curled with its long snout pointing downward and its spines radiating outward, fills the coin's surface in a highly detailed design that demonstrates Devlin's ability to combine scientific accuracy with artistic style. Below the echidna is the denomination 5, making the coin's value instantly clear. Struck in a durable copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel, the coin has a silver-gray color when new, a weight of 2.83 grams, a diameter of 19.41 millimeters, a thickness of 1.3 millimeters, and a plain edge, making it both light and small in the hand. In 1983, millions of 5-cent coins were struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra for everyday circulation, making them common in worn condition, though higher-grade uncirculated coins, proof issues from collector sets, or error varieties can hold greater value for numismatists today. Historically, the 1983 5-cent coin reflects an era when decimal coinage had become fully integrated into Australian life, being used daily for small purchases such as newspapers, milk, and public transport fares, making it an essential part of the economy. While its purchasing power was modest even then, it played an important role in ensuring exact change in a system where every cent counted. For collectors, the 1983 edition is significant as part of the long-running series of Devlin's echidna design, which has endured unchanged for decades, symbolizing both stability and national pride in Australia's unique fauna. It also stands at the tail end of the Mackin portrait era, which was soon replaced in 1985 by Raphael Maclauf's more stylized effigy of the Queen, giving the 1983 issue additional historical context within the sequence of obverse designs. Though often overlooked because of its small size and low face value, the Elizabeth II Australian 1983 5-cent coin carries with it a story of artistry, identity, and everyday life, making it more than just a piece of small change. It is a miniature canvas that links Australia's wildlife, its people, and its place within the Commonwealth. Would you like me to expand this into a longer 20-minute version, with more detail about the echidna symbolism, Arnold Mackin's portrait history, and the role of 5-cent coins in Australian daily life, so it fits perfectly as a YouTube documentary-style narration? Here's a long single-paragraph script about the Elizabeth II Australian 1966 5-cent coin, with deep historical, artistic, and numismatic details, written so it can comfortably last about 10 minutes of narration if read clearly and steadily. The Elizabeth II Australian 1966 5-cent coin holds a very special place in Australian numismatic history, because it was part of the very first series of coins issued when the nation officially adopted the decimal currency system on February 14, 1966, replacing the old system of pounds, shillings, and pence with a modern dollar and cent framework that aligned Australia with international standards. The 5-cent coin, though small in size and value, became one of the essential building blocks of the new system, and the 1966 issue marked the very beginning of its long circulation life. On the obverse, the coin features the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the sculptor Arnold Mackin, whose effigy was adopted across many Commonwealth nations during the 1960s. In this depiction, the Queen faces right, wearing the elegant Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, one of her signature jewels, her features finely detailed to convey dignity and grace, symbolizing both continuity with British tradition and Australia's modern new currency era. Encircling her portrait is the legend Elizabeth II Australia 1966, clearly identifying both the monarch and the issuing country, along with the first year of decimal coinage. The reverse of the coin features one of the most beloved designs in Australian coinage history, created by the renowned artist and goldsmith Stuart Devlin, who was commissioned to design all the reverses for the 1966 decimal coins. Here we see the echidna, one of Australia's most unique and iconic animals, also known as the spiny anteater, depicted in an intricate and compact design that perfectly fills the small surface of the coin. With its long snout in the center and its spines radiating outward in a symmetrical pattern, the echidna embodies Australia's remarkable wildlife, highlighting the nation's identity on its smallest denomination. Beneath the creature is the large, bold numeral 5, representing the value of 5 cents. Struck in a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel, the coin weighs 2.83 grams, has a diameter of 19.41 millimeters, a thickness of 1.3 millimeters, and a plain edge, making it the lightest and smallest Australian coin still in circulation today. In 1966, an enormous number of 5-cent coins were minted to ensure the success of the currency conversion. Over 30 million pieces were struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra and at foreign mints in London and other facilities contracted to assist with the rollout of the new system. While common in worn condition due to heavy use in daily life, these coins remain historically significant because they represent the very first year of decimal coinage in Australia. For collectors, 1966 5-cent coins are valued for their historical importance, and examples in mint state condition or included in official proof sets are especially sought after, while rare minting errors from this year, such as misstrikes or off-center pieces, are highly collectible. Beyond their physical characteristics, these coins reflect a major moment in Australian history. The transition to decimal currency was one of the most significant monetary reforms of the 20th century, involving a massive national education campaign, redesigned banknotes, and new coins that introduced Australians to a fresh, modern system. The 1966 5-cent coin therefore embodies not only the artistry of Arnold McKim and Stuart Devlin, but also the spirit of progress and modernization that defined Australia in the mid-1960s. Although its purchasing power has diminished greatly over the decades due to inflation, the design has endured unchanged for more than half a century, making the echidna one of the most recognizable images in Australian coinage. For Australians who first held the 1966 5-cent coin, it was more than just small change. It was a symbol of national transformation, of embracing the future, and of celebrating the country's unique identity through its coinage, and it remains a timeless piece of Australia's numismatic heritage. Would you like me to now create a 20-minute extended version of this, expanding more on the decimal currency changeover in 1966, Stuart Devlin's role, and how every